everybody, it's John again from Gasper's Automotive Restoration, and today we've got this 1951 Maxim. It's a private owner from Massachusetts. His name's Ryan, and he brought this to us several months ago because of a lot of problems. He had a problem with the engine, he wasn't sure about the brakes, and he had a bunch of cosmetic things he wanted to fix. So we went through this thing from stem to stern. We did a radiator repair, all new electrical, the carburetor rebuilt. We did head gaskets on the engine. The head gaskets were no good. We did the starter and the generator rebuild, the regulator, all new electrical front to back, all the wires, all cloth wire now. Brakes completely front to back, brake lines, everything. He had somebody look at this thing and said that the brakes were okay. Well, our motto is, if your brakes don't stop you, something else will. That's not what we do here. So we make sure the brakes are right, and they're going to stop you, and nothing else is going to stop you. So we had to go through all that. The brakes in the front had something done to them in the past, the recent past, but the rear brakes had absolutely nothing done to them. And the power unit had also not been rebuilt. So whenever you have one of these old trucks, and I've said in a lot of videos, make sure you get your brakes redone. If it runs not so great and it doesn't look so great, but it stops really good, that's the most important thing. So brakes and also wiring harnesses is really important too, because you don't want to burn the truck down. If your rig's burned to the ground, it's not really that handy. So let's take a look under the hood here. A lot of what we did was under the hood and underneath the truck, so you really can't see. And speaking of that, we did have the hood repainted. We did some cosmetics to this truck. You might not be able to tell, but we took this hood off, disassembled it, and we had it sanded down and painted at the body shop to match the color match to the truck. And the color match came out really, really nice. The truck needs to be buffed and wet sanded out to get rid of this kind of chalky look a little bit to match, but it's the correct color. And the customer also wanted us to do the door because the emblem on the door was something that was done by the firefighters in Winooski, Vermont, and he wanted to bring it back to the original emblem, which we might show you in a little bit. I've got an actual copy of it from the town. So he's going to have that done by an artist at a later date. And he also wanted us to get the writing off the hood, so we got that taken care of. So the hood, the doors, and also the wheels were painted to match the truck. The wheels were not the right color either, so that's all been taken care of. And so, back to under the hood here, we went through and we repainted the engine while we were in there. We did all new spark plug wires, tuned up the distributor, belts, water pump rebuild. You'll see a video, a separate video I have on the water pump. I believe we already have shown that on YouTube, and that was a big fiasco with that. We had an oops when one of my guys was taking it apart, and stuff happens, mistakes happen, and we were able to fix it in-house, brazed it together. It came out really, really nice. And so that's all been done, and the magneto's been fixed, all new wires there, that's operating correctly. We even put some vintage spark plugs in there. I don't know if you can see those or not, but those are vintage 1950s AC spark plugs. They're what's correct for this truck, and they just look really nice. What's that? Where are the spark plugs? So the spark plugs are the things that have the wires. Right down those ceramic things. Yeah, so we put the spark plugs in and replaced those with those vintage ones. They look really, really nice. And we actually reused the connectors on the end. Those are called Raja connectors. They're made by a company called Raja, and I believe Raja is still in business, or at least somebody bought the name and they're making stuff under the name. And I was able to restore those in-house and solder them back on. So with the original connectors, everything works great. So hood down here. We had to fix some of these hood latches too. Someone was in here years ago and they actually took these things off and flipped them around the wrong way. The pin was in the wrong way and this mount was on wrong. So you almost couldn't even get the hood closed. that's all fixed. And the inside the cab here, we actually did something interesting on the floor here. We had to take this floor panel out right here, and in order to access the master cylinder for the brakes, and it's really not easy to take this big panel out. It's a lot of work. So after we did it, I had one of the guys cut a hole here out, this square panel, and make some tabs, weld them on, and put these screws in. So now all you have to do is take this little panel off with 2 screws, and your master cylinder is right underneath there. Is it original to 1951? No, but it makes total sense. If I was working at Maxim back then, I would have told them to put that hatch in there to access it, but I wasn't born then, so I couldn't fix it. Sorry, everybody. We also did new lug nuts down here. I just wanted to replace the lug nuts in the truck. They were all painted and looking kind of shabby. And these old Bud Wheel style lug nuts, you know, the thread gets tired on them after a while, being taken on and off 17 million times. So we made sure we replaced those, and we kept some of them that were good. Some we replaced the rest of them. And again, we did all new brakes. And the only other repair was back here. We did some rust repair down here. We had some rot here in the corners, and we took that, cut it out, and put in new metal, primed it. And the customer did not have the money to continue on and do work back here or on the running boards. But I'm thinking, you know, there may be some work in the future. We'll see. But we'd love to have him bring this truck back. That would be wonderful. And then on this side over here, it's pretty much the same story. We got the exhaust. Come down here on the ground. You can see all new exhaust on this truck, right to the front with the muffler. We got the exhaust here with a brand new, we put a muffler on here. This truck had no muffler on it. I think I lost 10 years worth of hearing listening to this thing run. It was really loud, so we put a muffler on. It sounds much better. So that was another major thing we had to do there.
Sounds much better.
Much better. It sounds much better. And that's about it on the 51 Maxim. This was a neat project. It's a truck from the 1950s, which we haven't worked on in quite a while. Usually we were working on stuff from the 1920s, 1930s. So it was really nice to work on something you can actually go to an auto parts or a heavy-duty truck supply and get parts for. And it made it a little bit easier to do some of the stuff. But we had a lot of fun working on it. So just want to say thank you to everybody out there for supporting this channel and subscribing. And please spread the word. We want to get more subscribers. It really helps us out. We really appreciate what you do and you watching and everything. And keep that old iron running.